post video for you today looking at the silhouette dies from Tonic. They're all really cool verso dies that have loads of different layers that sort of cut inside or outside of the cutting line, as well as different decorative elements. And there are 3 different designs. You get hearts, flowers, which is called petunia, and a butterfly as well. I really do love the butterfly one. And they're in the actual packaging that they'll come in. So this is the brand new packaging from Tonic, and I have explained this in another video, but I'm not sure I've edited it yet. But it's a cardboard sleeve that it comes in, and it gives you like examples of how to cut them out and different combinations and stuff on the back of the packaging for you. And the idea behind this packaging is that it is really easily recyclable. Like before, you had the piece of card, the dies were stuck to a piece of acetate, and the whole packaging was plastic as well. And although in some cases you can carefully peel off the adhesive, and if the outside isn't too scratched you could use it within your cards, having it like this has really reduced the amount that can't be as easily recycled. And the way it works, I'm not sure if I've hooked any of these back together, but when you pull it out of the packaging, you want to make sure that the plastic, there's a sheet of plastic here, you want to make sure that the plastic is away from the cardboard here, because this plastic is actually linked to the piece of card that the dies are stuck to when you get them. Oh, this is the one that I accidentally ripped, you see. The piece is missing down here, and it's because I was pulling the card out and I thought the acetate was supposed to stay in, but it's not. It is actually attached with a little tab loop to the bottom of the die set. And the idea behind the packaging is you could, what I was thinking is you could stick your magnetic sheet to the other side of this piece of cardboard and then put all of your dies on the back here, because when you pick the dies off you have the outline of what was there. So if you've got them all stuck to the back, you can easily flip here and check that you've got all of them there, rather than having to use the little bits of adhesive that are on here. You can have a magnetic sheet so they stay in there nicer, and then you could put that back inside. And the way they've done the acetate piece, it's, you know, it's supposed to give the little window here, but you've got this whole piece and it doesn't actually get too scratched. You can see there's not really any scratches on there. So you can obviously use this for your shaker cards and creating acetate fronts and stuff to your cards as well, which is brilliant. So I really do like the new packaging, and the fact that you could keep your dies in this packaging with a magnetic sheet, it would fit back inside it as well, which is really lovely. And the way I've been opening it, because it's cardboard, I noticed that there was a tab sort of tucked in at the top and tucked in at the side, and I thought, well, I could try and open them the same way I opened the media dies, where I put my palette knife in and you know, opened where it was glued. But I thought maybe I'll make too much of a mess of the packaging, and I do really like the stylized packaging. So the best way to do it is to take your long bladed scissors and literally snip off a tiny bit of the top of the packaging. This is another different package that I'd opened, but I mean that was probably the most I cut off the top of the packaging. You don't need to cut quite that much off if you don't want to, but it just means that you can then easily take them in and out. And I think this is actually going to last quite a long time as well. It's a really nice sturdy cardboard. It's got the plastic coating on one side. I'm pretty sure this is still recyclable though, yeah, widely recyclable. But it has that nice plastic coating to it, so it's going to hold up if you do decide to keep all your dies in this storage. And the new luxury die storage trays that Tonic brought out recently, that I have next to me but they're too heavy to show you in the frame, they fit perfectly in there as well. So there's probably about this much space left at the side, so you know, if you are keeping them in the packaging, this size of a packaging fits perfectly in there. And any of the longer A4 kind of sized packaging that they do, and you know, that'll be in the new style, like the new memory books, the keepsake wallets and the curio and stuff, they would fit lengthways in that luxury die storage tray as well. So you know, if you'd rather keep them in the packaging rather than having to buy extra magnetic pouches and, you know, wallets and stuff to keep them in. You can just easily buy A4 magnetic sheets off of like eBay or Amazon, cut them, you know, in half to be a sort of A5 size, stick them to the back of here, and then put all your dies on, and it would make a really easy, simple packaging. I just wanted to explain all of that as well, but let's get on to actually looking at the dies. So the front of the packaging of these is really great actually. It really shows the different combinations that you can do with them, because you get two different butterfly designs which are the same size. However, for both butterflies you get two outside edges outside of them, so they're completely verso dies. But they're different, and they are slightly different in size. So for this one, you have a plain one that cuts quite close to the butterfly, but then the other one shows a dotted one, and if you stack the plain one on top of the dotted one, you can still see the dots when you stack them on top of each other, and that's the same with all of the shapes in this collection as well. Then you also have this one, which cuts you dots onto that slightly larger butterfly, which again, when you layer it up, you can see it underneath this one with the dots. And then you also have this final one, which cuts a larger smooth-edged butterfly, but gives you the dotted outline in your card. So if you're using it as an aperture to make a shaker card, or maybe you want to make a spinner card inside an aperture, that would give you a lovely dotty feature around the edge of the aperture, and you get that in all of them as well. So you get the dotty around the edge of the floral one, and a dotty around the edge of the heart as well. And the only difference, so the butterfly and the perfect petunia both have the same combination of edges that I just explained, but the heart one, it has the smallest one, which is a plain edge, the next size that's slightly bigger that has the dotty edge, the one that has the dotty edge on the outside, but instead of just having a plain heart with a dotty edge, they've actually given you a scalloped heart with a dotty edge for that final one, which is really lovely. And for all of them, when I was planning out my ideas, I was kind of referring to them as a viney one and a florally one. So each of the different designs has one that has got more flowers in than the other design. So this one has got multiple little flowers, this one's got a large cluster of flowers, and this one has more flowers here, whereas this has got tiny little flowers but it's mostly viney, and this one a small flower but it's mostly viney, and again a small flower, and I suppose that's a flower, but it's a little bit viney, more, you know, of a design. So I've really loved working with these. I haven't actually filmed any of my samples that I've created, which I'm a little bit annoyed about, because I did quite like a few of them and I wish I had filmed them. But you know, when I get a chance to, I'm sure I will do some of my usual sped up style using these, because I do really like them. But I've got 6 samples to show you, like 5 cards and a sort of 3D element which you could then create with any of these designs as well. One other thing I was going to say is this flower, all of the petals on it, it looks like it's completely symmetrical, but when you're lining up the dies, sometimes they don't line up exactly. You know, when you place 2 dies inside of each other and you take them together so you're going to get the perfect like inside and outside cutting edge, every time, well, almost every time I've put them together, I've had to turn it once to get the petals to look lined up better, if that makes any sense. You know, if you get the die set, you'll know what I mean. But so it can't be exactly symmetrical petals on the design, but it is really easy to line it up. Obviously there's only, you know, you've only got 5 ways to try, and one of them's going to be right. At least one of them will be right. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that as well. Yeah, so let's show you the samples that I've done with them. So I've got my 5 cards, and then I also created this one. So I had scraps of rainbow card left over from when I did that large wallet creator die set, and I did 1 page each colour, and so I thought I would make a little rainbow decoration. So there are 8 butterflies within this, and all you do to create this is cut your butterflies from, I do recommend using Craft Perfect because it's slightly thinner card. It's easier when you have 2 layers to get the bend nicely. So you want to cut them all out of a coloured Craft Perfect, whether you're doing it all the same or whether you're going to do a rainbow like this, and then you want to cut the intricate one out of white or black or something that's going to show on top of it. And I also alternated the two patterns, so one's got more floral, one's got viney, floral, viney, all the way around, so there's 4 of each of the intricate designs. And then you want to stick them on top of each other, trying to catch as many of the little intricate pieces as you can. You can do the trick of like spreading the glue on the back of your hand and picking it up that way. And then you just want to take the butterflies to your scoring board, and Tonic now do their own scoring board. They took over Hoogie, so the Hoogie board that I always use, the green one, you can now get this in a lovely light grey colour, and it is Tonic branded now as well. And you know, well, for years since this came out, I've been using this card creaser tool with my Hoogie board, so this will work absolutely perfectly with the Tonic one as well, because I don't think it comes with a creaser tool, but this works absolutely perfectly with it. So yeah, that's what you do. You score down the centre of them and just fold them all. Then you go through and add adhesive to the same wing of each of the butterflies, because you only need it on one side, and then you just go through and decide what order you want them to be in, and then just stick the wings back to back, because well, because this is a butterfly, and I mean the heart would work as well, and if you get the flower the right way round, that will work too. These symmetrical designs, so they stick back to back absolutely perfectly. And then, you know, you just keep going round until you stuck them all together, and before you close it up, I actually stuck a piece of high-tack tape in there just to make sure the string would really stay, but all I did was take a length of baker's twine, and then I tied a knot right at the bottom, so it was basically a big loop with a knot at the bottom, and then all you do is put some high-tack tape in there before you stick the last ones together, and put the twine in so that the knot is still hanging out the bottom, so even if the tape doesn't hold, that won't pull through because the knot is keeping it from pulling through, but it just gives you a little hangy decoration then, which you could have up all year round, or with the heart version, or with the flower version as well actually. You could do Christmassy versions and have them on the Christmas tree, you know, lots of different things you can do with them, so I just wanted to show that as well. Then I did this one where I layered the two patterns together. So this is using the heart one. It's kind of hard to see because I did it all sort of red on red, and I kind of shadowed them with white. But I put the viney one down first and then the floral one over the top. And I actually used the waste from the layers to cut some of the other layers as well. So right in the back there, the red and white ones, the white one is cut from this white layer and the red one is cut from the red layer, and these are Tonic stitched square dies as well, but it just saves a bit of card when you do it like that. And I also use the largest heart with the dotty detail on the outside, so that you get a gap between the intricate design and the edge of the aperture, and you can see here how they've layered. So the one that has the dots on it is slightly bigger than the straight edged one, so they do layer on top of each other, so you can get a really layered look, which I've done with one of, no, I did it with a heart actually, and yeah, later on I'll show you that. And so around the aperture as well, these holes, the tiny little holes that they give, are absolutely perfect for mimicking that like sewing machine look. So all I did was I just dragged a black pen around it and deliberately went off in places to look like tatty thread, so it kind of looks like it was sewn around. And I added a sentiment strip where I snipped off the ends, and then I used some Dymo label to finish off the sentiment as well, because otherwise I had 2 of them that said with love, so I wanted to add on your birthday on that one. So that is one of them using the heart. This is the other one I did using the heart. This was just a background that I had left over. And then I've just used the more viney design here, and I've actually shadowed it white with a silver one underneath, and I wanted to show the stacking of them as well. So you can see here, the white one is the plain edged white one, and then you've got the dotty edged one, which is also the smallest sort of a size. Then the next one is the one that has the dotty design around the outside edge of it, so it gives you a plain heart. And then the final one is the scalloped dotty one as well, so you can see how nicely they layer together, which I really do like. Often it's difficult, especially with hearts and things, because if if a company has sold like a nesting die set, they can't get the dies close enough together, and often with hearts that it ends up distorting the design as well. But the clever way Tonic have done these, by giving you two central designs, they've been able to give you the mats that are just a tiny bit different to each other, so you can really get that like skinny layered look, which is really nice. This is just an older Tonic sentiment, and the background is one of their cut and emboss folders, because I thought the floral designs went really nicely. They're actually like the same kind of flowery things and stuff, so the aperture that it cuts out is actually underneath this heart. You can see a bit of it here and a bit of it here. But I thought it worked really nicely, and you know, even though you've got that aperture design, because you stuck that heart over the top, it's kind of disguised it, and it just looks like you used an embossing folder. So it's just another way of using your cut and emboss folders as well. So that's the two that I did with the heart. Then the butterfly, obviously one of them was this. I actually did three with the butterfly, because you can tell that was my favourite. So I did one that was the hangy decoration, and then I did a shaker as well. So I wanted to show how you can use the dotty outside one to create your aperture into your card, and then with the waste that fell out of that, I then cut the intricate butterfly as well, and this is just using the more viney version of the butterfly. And I also cut the same intricate one out of black as well, so it's got a slight little drop shadow of black, just to make it stand out a little bit more. And then to tie that in, I put a tiny mat of black around the inky one, and I even drew a black line around the next one. And then for the sentiment, I've also shadowed it with black, and for the stamped sentiment, I've added it onto a little layer of black as well. And then I just created a shaker card behind there. I like subtle shaker cards where you know, you sort of leave like cleary sort of stuff floating around on the white in the background. I really love that look. And the sentiment is the Sorry Sentiment strip that Tonic have brought out, and the I Forgot Your Birthday is from the Garden Party release, the Celebrate stamp set that had loads of different words. I thought that was quite nice. I was going to go for a sympathy card, but then I ended up using really bright colours, so then I was like, oh, maybe I should change it to a birthday card, so it's just Sorry I Forgot Your Birthday instead. But obviously you could do this in whatever colours you want to, and this is the wonky stitched rectangles that Tonic have brought out as well. And I think that was everything I was going to say. We also get this piece. Where did it go? I've lost it. I had it here. Oh, there it is. So when you do this, oh, it's got caught on something. Whoops. So when you do this, where you cut them inside each other, you even get this one too. So this could be the start of your next card as well, which I thought was really cool. So you've then got that piece that came out of there. I mean, you could put it back in if you wanted, or you can leave it out. And then this could be the start of another card. You know, this on a, I mean, this is slightly longer than an A6. It's sort of a weird shape that I made this one. This is kind of an A6 piece of card, so these do fit really lovely on an A6 or A2 kind of a size of card. And you can just have, you know, I tried to make the cards a little bit more advanced rather than being really simple, but you can do them really, really simple. Like, you could literally just have the butterfly outline and you know, you could do a splatty inky background behind that and then just have your sentiment, and it would look really lovely. So lots of different things that you can do with them. So that is the shaker card version. So you've got a 3D ornament, a shaker card with the butterflies, and then I was just experimenting because I really loved how this sort of came out. I then just cut a load of them out of craft card, and I cut the intricate one, the slightly smaller one and the slightly bigger one with both of the designs. And then I just layered them onto like a vintagey patterned paper, because I thought this then kind of looks a little bit more masculine, taking a floral butterfly but making it look a bit more masculine from the colour scheme that you've used and everything. So all I did was stick some of the frames down, some of the intricate ones down, overlapping them in different ways, so that like the frame comes over the top of this intricate one, but this intricate one goes over the top of that frame. And then for the sentiment, this is from the Curio die set that just came out with the memory books. and it's the little happy one. There's also wishes as well, which I think is really great because then you can do birthday wishes too if you want to. And the birthday is from the Will's Hand collection of dies as well. And this is quite a large card for me. This is about an A5 card. So, you know, when you use those sentiments together, it works perfectly for this kind of size of a card. And I think that the large design of the butterfly works better for creating a background on a larger card as well. Yeah, but I do really like how that one turned out, actually. It was really simple to do. You know, there's not too much that goes into a card like this because it's just a bit of die cutting, and I didn't have to create a background or anything really. So a really simple kind of masculine card. And again, you could do this with the flowers would still stay quite masculine as well. And then finally, I did do one with the flowers as well. And so for this one, I was using the Blue Blossom Colour Trend collection. So for the background, I actually scribbled on some aquaflows first. I scribbled on, I think it was like Wild Phlox, Baked Cherry, and the new one that came out in the Blue Blossom Colour Trend, Blue Velvet. So I just randomly scribbled them on, sprayed it with a load of water, and then tipped in some of the Meteorite Shower Shimmer Powder, which also came out in the Blue Blossom Colour Trend, just to create a overall inky, messy kind of background. It looks a tiny bit galaxy-y. And then I just cut multiples of the two different intricate designs with the two different outside edges that are the smallest ones, from just plain white card, and then just stuck them all over to create a background, and then finished it off with a simple sentiment strip, the congrats one, and then I matted it on a little bit of the glitter card that came out in the Blue Blossom Colour Trend as well. So that's really simple again. If you've got any backgrounds that you've created that you know haven't finished making cards with, or even if you have patterned papers, I mean this kind of a patterned paper would have worked marvellously for this as well, and would have cut out like half the time of making the card because you wouldn't have to wait for your background to dry. And if you don't like getting inky and messy with all the Nouveau products, then you know just using a background paper would work brilliantly too. So that is all of the samples that I created with the silhouette dies. So I hope you've enjoyed the look at the new packaging as well, and how I open it, and you know like how you could adapt it to store your dies within there really easily on a magnetic sheet. And I hope you enjoyed the few little sort of ideas I showed with what you can do with these silhouette dies as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!